inside Chris Brown's $4.3 million Tarzana mansion. Chris Brown's voice and his mansion in Tarzana are both pretty impressive. The $4.3 million California estate is actually a smart house, but we'll look at it in just a little bit. From what we know, Chris's mansion definitely reflects him, from his insane car collection on display to the graffiti art walls. He also has 16 security cameras, which actually makes sense considering he's released his address to the public in the past. Anyone remember Chris's yard sale last year? He is best known as a hip-hop artist, and he's also a songwriter, dancer, and even an actor. He's been named one of the best-selling music artists worldwide and sold over 100 million records. He also has plenty of awards under his belt, one of which happens to be a Grammy. At the moment, he is 30 years old and has 2 kids. Breezy has always been caught up in plenty of drama over the years, but we'll leave all of that out. Chris has come a long way since his humble beginnings in Tappahannock, Virginia, but singing and dancing have been part of his life since he was a kid. Back then, he definitely didn't live in a multi-million-dollar mansion though, that's for sure. These days, his estimated net worth is around $50 million and his Instagram following is just slightly higher than 60 million. But with that kind of bank, you know Chris's mansion has gotta be fancy. Let's take a look around this very fancy Mega Million mansion. First off, I'm not exactly sure what the house Chris grew up as a kid looked like, but it was just your average family home. As I mentioned, Chris grew up in Tappahannock, Virginia, and his father Clinton, who was a corrections officer, still lives there. Clinton has opened up to interviews before in the past and showed off some photos of Chris when he was just a little kid. He brought interviewers into his home, and it's possible that's the same house the singer lived in as a child. We also know that Chris bought his mama a house for $1 million when he was only 15 years old. Well, we don't know much about what his family home as a kid looked like, but we do know where he lived prior to his Tarzana mansion. Let's look at Breezy's previous home. Back in 2011, he bought a house in Hollywood Hills for $1.5 million, which doesn't sound like a lot at all these days. The home was built in 2008 and was about 3,000 square feet with 3 beds and 3 baths. It was such a bachelor pad for Chris considering it was after his huge breakup with Rihanna. The decor even looked the part with all white and chrome interior for the most part. Chris's old Hollywood home could be accessed with an elevator, considering it was 4 or more story high. The house, designed by architect Jay Vanas, was super modern with glass walls, high ceilings, and beautiful views of the LA skyline. Inside the house, he had all the high-tech features necessary, including the state-of-the-art home automation system and audio and video security systems. His master suite was on the top level of the home, was completely visible to the attached ensuite bathroom thanks to the floor-to-ceiling glass all around. The master bathroom had a glass shower stall too, of course, and double sink vanity. Other features of Chris's old Hollywood house included an art studio, a loft, and a fancy kitchen. Outside, there was a massive saltwater pool and spa that could be illuminated by colorful LED lights, as well as a fire pit, stone waterfalls, and an outdoor projection screen. In case you didn't know, singer and songwriter loves graffiti art, and it's also pretty prominent in his current place, which I'll talk about soon. They repainted the exterior of his home before Chris put it on the market, but according to the listing, some interior walls still had cartoon-like characters painted on them. Apparently, the neighbors weren't a fan of Chris's graffiti art all over the house, because I guess at one point it was on the exterior too. In the end, he sold his Hollywood home for $1.9 million. And that Hollywood Hill house wasn't the only property Chris sold in LA. Around the same time in 2011 to 2014, he owned a penthouse in Hollywood too. He sold it in an off-market deal for $1.6 million, which is the same price he bought it, partly because he had some alleged noise complaints. I mean, if neighbors are complaining about the noise when you have an entire penthouse to yourself, it must be pretty damn loud. The residents even reported Chris many times for constant partying, hallway dog races, and parking in handicap spots. Anyways, the penthouse was located in West Hollywood, which is pretty trendy and fun area. If you stood out on the large balcony, you would be overlooking Sunset Boulevard, so he was right in that action. The penthouse took up the entire top floor of the building, naturally, and had over 3,000 square feet of living space. Chris's penthouse had 3 beds and 3.5 baths, as well as a lot of natural light thanks to a ton of windows all around the unit. Some features of his condo included an ensuite bathroom for each room, a bar, an art studio, and an office. After Chris dumped both of those properties, he was free to move on to his current mansion in Tarzana. Maybe he was over Hollywood and those angry neighbors. Just when you may have thought that he was ready for a fresh start with a new home outside of Hollywood and away from the drama, it seems like the drama still followed him to his current place. I don't even know if that has actually happened, but look, you can see how nice Chris's palace is. Oh, and don't forget when he got robbed at his mansion too, and his aunt was locked in a closet. Besides all of that, this is still Chris's current place he calls home. So let's take a look. He bought this place in 2015 for around $4.3 million, so it was a definite upgrade from his last 2 places. His palace, as he likes to call it, is situated at the top of a hill, so he's far away from any neighbors who might say his music is too loud. However, after the police were over at Chris's place one too many times, one neighbor did express his feelings, saying, "I think he's a piece of shit. He's rude, first of all." And then continued, "I'll come walking out with my friends at 12 o'clock. I get home at 12 o'clock from work. He'll be out here with his stupid little friends and their stupid little cars revving their engines." So, I guess the consensus over time is that Breezy is a really lousy neighbor, no matter how much the distance there. This home is in Tarzana, California, which is a Los Angeles neighborhood located in the San Fernando Valley area. It's named after Tarzan himself, if you didn't know. Even though it's out of Hollywood, these days the homes in Tarzana go for an average of $6 million, so it isn't cheap. Chris's multi-million-dollar mansion in Tarzana is 8,300 square feet and has 6 beds and 6 baths. The total property spans over 32,000 square feet, so just a bit under an acre. From an aerial view of his home, you can see the land is pretty spacious. Chris's mansion is supposed to be green, solar-powered, and a smart house, which means it includes a bunch of security cameras, 16 to be exact, a state-of-the-art alarm system, and more. 16 cameras just reminded me of some weirdo movie I watched. Oh wait, that was 14 cameras. But I'll bet I'm the only one who's seen that. His house was such a secure and smart house. Then how did he get robbed while he was away? And how did his aunt get stuffed in the closet? I guess we'll never know. When you enter Chris's mansion, you're greeted by a 2-story entryway or foyer, whatever you want to call it. There's a grand staircase to take you upstairs where most of the bedrooms are. Throughout the house, there are plenty of glass walls and large balconies so you can take advantage of the beautiful view. The master suite, of course, has its own private terrace. Some other features inside Chris's mansion include living, family and dining spaces, as well as a mysterious bonus room and wood and stone floors throughout. Of course, he has a home movie theater with 14 reclining seats and a 120-inch screen too. It has a massive 3-car garage, and on outside he has an additional motor court for 10 cars. I know that he must love this part of his palace because he is obsessed with its wheels. Also, outside the mansion, there's an outdoor living room with a full kitchen, 3 fire pits, and an expansive lawn, and of course a saltwater swimming pool, spa, and waterfall. What more could you ask for? More recently, we can see that the singer has definitely made this house his own and decorated it in his usual fashion. Of course, there's more graffiti art too. He also has multiple walk-in closets because he has one of the most insane and biggest shoe collections. I wonder what closet space his girl has, or if she gets any. I think the house itself is gorgeous, but his decor is a little bit too boyish for me. Be sure to tell me in the comments. If you like these videos, make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell to be notified when we post so you can always be up to date.